All right, ladies and gentlemen, today we are going to work on our subtraction and borrowing. So let's first look at these subtraction rules that we have. The first one says, bigger on the bottom, you borrow. So when we look at this number 45, we look at the 5 first, and then we look at the 8, because those are both in the ones row, right? This is our ones row, this is our tens row. So we look at our ones row. If the number on the top, the 5, is smaller than the number on the bottom, 8, then we need to borrow. Now let's think about this in another way. If 5 was a pizza shop and they had 5 slices of pizza, and I walked into the pizza shop and I wanted 8 slices of pizza, would the pizza place be able to give me the 8 slices I wanted? No, they would only be able to give me that 5 that they had. But they want to keep me as their customer, so they're going to borrow from the 10 spot. So they borrow some pizza so that they can give me my 8 pieces. Now, when the pizza place borrows from the next door pizza place, the next door pizza place is worth 10s, right? We're in the tens column now. So if I take away 1, I get 3, and I get to put 10 more over here. So 5 plus 10 equals 15, and 4 minus 1 is 3. So now I can do my subtraction. 15 minus 8 is 7, and 3 minus 0 is 3. Okay? So if we look over here, now we see kind of the same setup. We have 50 minus 38. So the first thing we need to do is we need to look at that ones row. Again, we see that the top number is smaller than the bottom number. And we think to ourselves, if I walked into a pizza place and they had 0 slices of pizza and I wanted 8, they won't be able to give it to me. So I need to borrow from the 5. So what happens as we move down here is we see that we cross out the 0 and we borrow from the 5. So when we take 1 away from the 5 that is in the tens row, we make that a 4. But when we add it over here, we add 10 because we're taking 1 from the tens row. So 1 from the tens row is essentially a 10. So 0 plus 10 is 10. So now we can subtract. 10 minus 8 is 2. 4 minus 3 is 1. All right, let's move on to our next scenario. More on the top, no need to stop. So again, if we look at our problem and we first look at our ones row, in this problem we see that 5 is bigger than 3. So if I walk into a pizza shop and they have 5 slices of pizza and I want 3, do they have plenty to give me? Yes, they do. So if I take away 3 of their slices, they only have 2 left. Then we look at the 4. The 4 minus 0, right? There's nothing there, so that's 4. So your answer is 42. The next scenario, number the same, zero's the game. So if you see in your ones row that these numbers are exactly the same, your answer is going to be 0. 5 take away 5 is 0. And then we move on to our 10 spot. 4 minus 0 is 4. So now let's read the rules together just to remind ourselves. Subtraction rules. Bigger on the bottom, you borrow. More on the top, No need to stop. Number the same, zero's the game. So when I see a problem, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to identify if I need to borrow. So I'm going to think about all of these things. Do I need to borrow? Or do I not need to borrow? If I need to borrow, I'm going to change the number so that I can borrow. And I'm probably going to walk through my little pizza place scenario in my head, or maybe even aloud. After that, I'm going to apply the math, kind of like we did back here. We identified, we borrowed, and then we applied the math. Now let's practice. So we see that we have a problem right here. I'm going to make my little cursor just a little bit bigger. We have 63 minus 25. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is I need to identify if I need to borrow. So I'm going to look at my ones column, and I'm going to look at the top number. Okay, this is a pizza place. They have 3 slices of pizza. I walk in and I want 5 slices. So they don't have enough to give me. So they have to borrow from the next door neighbor. So they're going to cross out that 6, and we're going to make that a 5. Remember, we only take away 1 from the tens column. But when we take away 1, if this was just 60, it would turn into 50, right? So when we take away 1, we get to apply that 10 over here. So I'm going to cross out my 3, and I get to make that 3 plus 10, which is 13. So now I've completed my borrowing. I've changed the numbers so I can borrow. So now I need to apply the math. Okay, 13 minus 5. So 13 minus 5, I know, is 8. You can also do that on your hands if you need to. And then 5 minus 2 is 3. My answer is 38. Now that I have my answer, I can actually go back in and check my answer. So 38 plus 25 should be 63. So let's figure this out. 38 plus 25. 8 plus 5 is 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I put a 3 down here. And I carry my 1. And 3 plus 2, I know it's 5, plus 1 is 6. So now let's look at this problem as if we are still struggling to kind of understand why we did what we did. So let's look back at our numbers. We have our ones column right here. And so first we want to look at our 3 and our 2, or pardon me, our 3 and our 5. And we're going to look at those two numbers. Now we see that this 5 is bigger than this 3. So let's make ourselves a little demo. We go to the pizza shop and they have 3 pizzas. Pardon my circles. And I want 5 pizza slices. Actually, let's just call them pizzas. They have 3 pizzas and I want 5 pizzas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is what I want, and this is what they have. Can they give me all 5 pizzas? No, they can't because they're missing 2 pizzas to give me. So they have to borrow from their pizza shop. I'm going to erase this so we remember what they have and what we have. So now we know that they need to borrow. So we're going to cross this number out because we know that we're going to borrow from our next door neighbor. Or they're going to. So when they borrow from their neighbor, they cross out the 6 and they take 1 away. So this becomes a 5. So this is our 10 spot, right? Ones, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and etc. Our 10 spots, we count 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, etc. So when we borrow from the 10 spot, our first number is 10. We take away a 10. So we have to add 10 to the 1 spot. So when we do that, we have our 3 circles. Now we need to add 10 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, so now the pizza place has 13 pieces of pizza. So let's just count these again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so we have our 13 pizzas or pieces of pizza, whichever you prefer. And we need to take away 5. So we can actually do that. We can look at our 5 and say, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4, and here's 5. So once we've taken those away, we know we can go back and we can count the ones that remain. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So the number that goes down here is 8 because that's how many are remaining. Now we look over here, and this pizza place has 5 pizzas or 5 pieces of pizza. So we would make our new pizzas. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we want 2 pieces. So we're going to take away 2 because this 5 is bigger than this 2, right? We can actually get 2 pizzas out of 5. So we're going to take away 1, 2. So how many do we have left? 1, 2, 3. So that's 38. So we've performed this subtraction problem in 2 ways. 1, by thinking through it, and 2, by visually representing it, meaning we drew a picture and we figured out how to do it based on our picture. You can use either of those ways to perform the next few problems on the next few slides. So you have 5 more slides, and each slide has 3 problems. So that is 15 problems you'll need to complete. Remember that you can always come back to read your subtraction rules or to look through the problem that we did together. If you have any questions, you can also contact myself. Good luck, have fun, and enjoy thinking through these problems. You'll do great, I know it.